Hello, everybody. Welcome to the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast. I'm Bill.
I'm DK.
And happy Halloween to everyone. We're recording this on Halloween Day, so make sure you get all your good treats. Just don't eat too much candy when you get home.
Yeah.
This week we are going to take a look at the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, in a 5-year period where he is in WWF and WCW. I actually looked it up a little bit before we got started, and I remember a little bit of him being in WC, but we'll talk about it as we get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's a little yeah, I think it's in the middle there somewhere, right?
Yeah,
93 maybe.
yeah, 93.
Okay.
Plus, we're going to talk about our November poll for pay-per-view review, and we're going to put a little twist into this poll. So, but before we get into all of that, let's talk about the Saudi show coming up this Saturday, Crown Jewel. 7 matches have been announced. I think this is the card. I think this is the complete card
Yeah.
for this Saudi.
I'm yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like there's no SmackDown women's title match here.
Right.
I thought maybe they might as Ronda being champion, I thought they may have added her to the show too, just another big name over in Saudi. So
Yeah.
maybe something with that. And there was a little thing on SmackDown with Natalia getting choked out there by the two mean girls there.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe there's something like maybe a tag match or something they add.
Well,
We'll just go with what we know right now, right?
yeah. Just wait and see what we get.
Yeah.
So, we are going to go through each match as of this recording, give our predictions as to who we think will win. So, we're going to begin with Bianca Belair defending the Raw Women's Championship against Bayley in a last woman standing match.
Yeah, this should be an interesting match. Like Bailey's got the backup. There could be shenanigans here. I think Bianca's just on a great run right now.
Yeah.
I don't see her losing her title till maybe WrestleMania. If that, she could be maybe one of these long-term, multiple-year champions, just the way she's going. So I'll take Bianca here. They might want to make her look strong too. Maybe she dominates all 3 girls and wins the match. But yeah, I'll take Bianca.
This is actually in my top 2 of like the hardest matches to pick, because it's this one and another one
Yeah.
that are the hardest for me to pick, because I could see it going both ways on this. I could see Bianca retaining the title, exactly what you said, have her go all the way to WrestleMania, which I would have no problem with, because I have said on a few of my podcasts the last 2 years how she has won me over from when I first saw her in NXT like 3-4 years ago to now.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, Bayley's been such a good heel. The fact, the group that she's got has been going real good. They've got the women's tag titles. And if you give her, or if she gets the Raw women's title, you just go, all out being like, we are the dominant faction in the women's division. So I'm going to say Bayley wins the title on this one.
Oh,
I'm not saying a long run, maybe a month, 2 months, have her as champion. And then maybe Bianca wins it back. And then, like you said, have her go to WrestleMania. And then
yeah, that would be interesting. And I believe Bianca is the only babyface champion in WWE right now.
I think, Dana Brooke is the 24/7 champion. So
I'm talking real championships,
oh,
not fake ones. Yeah, Dana Brooke's gonna break Ric Flair's record. Whoa, let's make a big deal about it. Nah, 24/7 title, they can just throw that in the garbage like Alundra Blaze did one day.
But I do think you're right. She is the only face with a title. I
And
think
now, like the thing with like we'll talk about it
Mhm.
with the bloodline. Like they are turning like besides Jey Uso, they're almost turning into a babyface group the way they're getting um that pop
Yeah,
when they come out to the ring. Sami Zayn is the most over wrestler in the business right now.
it's amazing.
it's
And I love
he's done
Sammy.
it all. I like it. Like on SmackDown, like you could see it. The guys are breaking character when he said that you got to be more Usi.
Hey, have you found your inner Uzi?
It was wonderful. You could see. I think the only one that was professional was Paul Heyman because he was just sitting there with the belts. But like Roman was losing it. Like
Mm-mm.
Jay was trying to act mad, but he was like, "Oh my god, it was beautiful."
Yeah.
Um, so
Well,
yeah, let's start this preview off. We're on opposite ends, which is always fun when we have debates on the show.
speaking of finding our Uzi, the Usos are up next. They defend
Oh.
the tag titles against Ridge Holland and Butch.
It's a funny story. Since you brought up the Usos, I want to take you back to our WrestleMania show
Okay.
when we did our preview. Um, I believe the Usos were supposed to lose that match
Yeah,
until
they
the
were.
injury happened.
Yeah.
And look at the role the Usos have been on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at what could have happened there, like we weren't supposed to have this long time tag champions, right?
No, we weren't.
And now because of the weird injury that happens, now you got this great run for the bloodline. So that's sometimes things happen for a reason. Not saying that we wanted that
Right.
wrestler to get injured or
Oh
anything
no,
like
no.
that, but I think it is better when when you got heels that actually defend the title and go on long runs,
Mm-hmm.
and build that storyline. But yeah, I'm taking the Usos here. They're rolling. Even that there does seem to be a little dissension in the group
Yeah.
where Jimmy is kind of like not saying much and sticking up for his brother. He's more like on Sammy's side,
Mm-hmm.
but they are still twin brothers and they're tag team champions. So maybe Sammy tries to help and he costs him the title here.
Well,
We'll see. I'm still gonna say the Usos pull off the win, but I would not be surprised if
I, I
the
could
latter
tell
happened
you,
there.
I could tell you, Sammy is not going to be at that show.
Oh, he's not gonna be there. Okay.
No, because he is of Syrian descent,
Oh,
and
okay.
the Saudis have this thing with Syria, and
Oh, come on. He's from Montreal. Get over it.
I know, but you know what I'm trying.
Don't take him away from us.
No, this is a real
It's
easy one.
Canadian kid.
This is a real easy one. The Usos are going to win this match.
Yeah.
I don't see them losing anytime soon. I don't see them losing the belts anytime soon.
Yeah.
All right, next match: Braun Strowman against Omos.
Yeah, it was a big man match. We all love these, right? I expect this to be 5 minutes. Um, since Triple H took over, almost has kind of like not been that
Yeah.
dominant guy that Vince wanted him to be.
Mm-hmm.
And bringing like you wouldn't. I don't think you'd bring Braun Strowman back, have him dominate all these nobodies, and then put him in with Omos. It's almost how Omos got his start. He was dominating guys that were kind of like jobbers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take Braun Strowman here in a quick I don't know,
This
5 minute
is
match.
this is the other match that I really have a hard time picking.
Really, I find this easy.
Because here's the thing: this could be a long story. It's possible.
It could.
It's possible. I'm not saying like we're. I'm hoping that this doesn't go all the way to WrestleMania because you're kind of wasting both men.
Yeah.
Um, God, I'm. This is probably the one where my mind's going to be changing every day between now and Saturday.
Yeah. I just don't see how they bring Braun back and then have him lose in his first like actual match. Like he's wrestled some kind of low
Yeah.
guys here, but
Um.
don't see it. But
For now, I'm going to say Omos. For now,
okay.
but it could change between now and the time of the show on Saturday. All right. Then we have a steel cage match: Drew McIntyre against Karrion Kross.
Yeah. Um I think this is probably the end of this feud.
Mm-hmm.
Um I'm gonna say Drew McIntyre wins. He didn't get to win against Roman Reigns. Put up a really good fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought how they did that match was really good, getting keeping the belt on Roman, but having Drew kind of be the star
Yeah.
in the ring, and then he got to sing with with the boxer guy,
Oh yeah.
which was always fun. He's like, "Oh, we still alive? I don't care." Good stuff.
They're gonna say American Pie. This has nothing to
Yeah,
do with Scotland or
yeah,
Wales
that
or
was
wherever the hell we are.
yeah, it wasn't Scotland pie, so I was like a little surprised by that. Like, there's
Um,
some Scottish songs that they could
I know,
say.
right? I would have been.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Drew McIntyre here.
Now
In
before
this
I
is a
give
steel cage match, right? And
it is in the cage.
can you win by pinfall?
I would imagine that's going to be a way to win.
Okay, so I'm gonna take I'll take Drew here, ending the feud.
Before I give my pick, kind of staying on topic with this, have you had a chance to hear Scarlett, Karrion Cross's manager slash wife? She, Shotzi, and I can't think of the other lady right now. They recently came out with a cover of "I'm Gonna Put a Spell on You,"
Yeah,
and the music video came out because they're doing like the Hocus Pocus version of the song.
yeah.
I listened to it. I tried. I'm not saying it's bad because it's not.
They're
I
not here. You don't have to worry about
no,
what
I
they
know, no, I
think.
know.
Like, if it's bad, it's bad.
I tried to like it, but I just couldn't get into it.
I will say it's bad because it was. I have heard it.
Um, now that I got that out of the way, Drew's gonna win this match. He
All right.
has to win this match.
Yeah, right. Like, unless they're completely burying him for some reason.
Because the thing is, and I said this to a friend of mine, and I'm going to say it to you, with Karrion Kross, I have tried many times to watch his match and to like him because he seems like a nice guy, but I just can't get into any of his matches, either in WWE or outside of WWE. Like he was on the Ric Flair retirement show in the summer, and I couldn't really get into that match. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, there's certain guys that you just don't like get into.
Right.
It might not even be the wrestler's fault or their style,
Oh
and that
no, no.
certain guys that just don't get over
Right.
in for certain fans. I'm kind of with you on this one. Um, Now I know he was released.
Mm-hmm.
Vince was in charge with the big release, and
Yep.
then when he came back, like a lot of people were happy about that. Um, and he's had an okay feud here with Drew. But yeah, he doesn't really move the needle for me either.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not really out of the
And
way
I'm
here
and
when
I'm
you're
sure
saying that
some of
stuff.
our listeners and viewers are on the same boat. I'm sure they
Yeah.
are. So all right. We have a six-man tag match with kind of an interesting story, and I'll get to that in a moment. It is the OC against Judgment Day. Now, what makes this kind of interesting is with Carl Anderson, because in New Japan, he is the never open weight champion. He was originally scheduled to appear on their show this Saturday to defend that title and probably would have dropped the belt.
Probably.
However, he went on Twitter saying, I never got anything about going to Japan. I have Luke take care of my bookings. So I will not be in Japan. I will be in Saudi Arabia. So that's where they are. New Japan is pissed about it.
Well,
So
yeah, that's the thing with when you're on like multiple promotions.
mhm.
I'm sure that the WWE is paying him a lot more money to go to Saudi than New Japan was
Yeah.
paying him.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have those numbers in front of me. That's just my opinion.
I don't have them either. So
That's kind of what I think. And probably when he came back, there was probably like something, yeah, okay, what you are working for us. And I know they're letting, I think Shinsuke has a match.
yep.
Is that in
Great
January?
Muda, New Year's
Yeah.
Day.
Yeah, New Year's Day. So that they are a lot like, I think Triple H is a lot better than Vince was about getting other guys on other shows.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because that's a main reason why they lost Daniel Bryan too, right? Or Bryan
Mhm.
Danielson,
Yeah.
depending on
Yeah.
where he's working. Um, and Jericho, he wanted to do the Kenny Omega
Yeah.
match. They didn't want him to. So it gets the guys out there. It probably brings in new fans. So I never understood why you wouldn't let someone do that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. All right. So the match.
yeah, the OC came back. I like the comp, like when their return.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was when AJ was hugging Finn,
Yep.
because they do have that history as
It
well.
was done well. Very
Yeah.
well done.
So yeah. See, I thought the Judgment Day would have been done and gone by now, but they're starting to grow on me a little bit, just as
Mm-hmm.
a heel group. Rhea Ripley is kind of turning into almost a China, where she's on.
I think she's become the star of that group.
She has, and she's like on the outside of the ring, but she's so dominant. Like, who did she body slam a few weeks ago? I
Oh, it
was
was
so impressed.
Gallows.
I was so impressed. I was like, oh my god, that's incredible.
That's a big dude.
Um, like Dominic Mysterio needs to go away. Like, I
I
have no
am the
use for him.
next Eddie Guerrero.
And what did AJ say?
I mean, Eddie is his dad, so you know.
Yeah, like he has to be his dad. Like, come on. Like, I can't believe they haven't even done a storyline about that. There must be a reason why he's growing the mullet.
Right.
He's like a foot taller than his dad. I don't know how, like, I think we saw Ray's wife on WWE TV at some point. I don't remember her being this giant Amazon lady. So,
Right.
so I don't know. Oh man, I'm losing my train of thought because Dominic just irritates me. Yeah, the Judgment Day. Besides Rhea,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to take the OC here in probably like a 10 to 12 minute. Everyone gets in the ring type of match,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll say AJ gets the win over Dominic.
Here's how I see it. I see Judgment Day winning this match. I think who's going to lose the fall? Now that you're mentioning it,
Just
I
a little
think
extra
I
on there.
I think Gallows is going to lose the fall. Balor will pin him. There'll be some shenanigans.
Yeah.
And this will take us to Survivor Series, where I think, if what I read is right, this is going to go to War Games.
Okay.
If I read it right. So we'll have
And how
to.
do the War Games work?
Uh,
Yeah, remind people.
yeah, the war. It's
I don't
two.
know.
Well, for this one, it would be two teams of four in a cage. One, like you start out with one apiece, and then
Yeah.
keep going until everyone's in. So,
Yeah, so then it becomes like 2-on-1 and then 2-on-2. Is it
right,
one per team gets
yeah.
brought out? Okay.
Hmm. So that's my thinking, but we'll have to wait and see.
So we have four, like we have three members of the OC
Right.
and
We have
then four
four,
members.
including
So
with Rhea. So they'd have to
yes.
get a fourth member.
So yeah, you could have the OC kind of recruit somebody.
Hmm.
Um, that'd be interesting to see who that would be
That
if that is the
if
plan.
yeah, if they go that way. All right.
Maybe
Next match.
Charlotte. I'm thinking like
Oh, I don't.
I always thought Rhea and Charlotte would be kind of like a
I
good matchup now. Like I know they had their matchup a few years ago
WrestleMania. Yeah.
when Rhea was first brought up, but she was the baby face then. So I I just think that would be a good matchup, and I think Charlotte and Rhea would have a pretty good match.
All right. Next up is Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, I kind of like the build of this. Um, I think it would have been better at a WrestleMania if you could build a little bit longer
Hmm.
for a no championship match, and they kind of had this match already, which I don't know. I think they probably should have had one of these where these two guys kind of have a long build, and then somebody wins, and then maybe there's a rematch, and you do like a three match
Hmm.
like storyline, similar to when Goldberg came back.
Right.
Um, this one's hard because Brock Lesnar he does care about the business, and I think he would lose here to Bobby to build to make money down the line. So I'm gonna take Bobby Lashley here, winning by cheating,
Hmm.
and then because they're both baby faces right now, right?
Yeah.
Technically, I think this is a Bobby Lashley heel turn, and and then maybe they can build maybe to a WrestleMania match where Brock would go over in that one. But it's hard. Like it could go the opposite way as well. Like it's hard for two big baby faces to kind of go in cold. Like I know they have had a couple Raws, and I don't think they were on SmackDown or anything,
Mhm.
but a couple like run-ins and stuff to build this match.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know how it's gonna go. Honestly, I'm interested to see how it plays out. I just yeah, it's tough. It's almost like this is what I want to happen,
Yeah.
but will it happen? I think Bobby Lashley is a better heel than a babyface. Like when he had MVP,
Yeah, he was great.
he was a great heel, and when he won the title, but and then Vince wanted him to be babyface, so things changed. Maybe heel turn here, but like there was that whole issue with when Edge left Judgment Day is because Cody got hurt and they didn't have a lot of baby faces. So
Hmm.
unless you're going to have Brock around every week, which you aren't, maybe that doesn't happen. But yeah, I'll take Bobby here and with the
See,
long answer.
here's the thing for me. I would agree with you on every single thing you said if this was the first match. This is the second match. Lashley won the first one. I think Brock is going to win this match to even the series, and then probably they have the third one at WrestleMania to end, whatever rivalry you want to call it, if you want to call it a rivalry, and then have whoever wins there win there. So I'm going to say Brock wins that match.
Okay, so when we go back to last year, Brock, the Bobby beat him
Right.
at Royal Rumble, right? And
Yep.
then and Brock had the title.
Brock had the title.
And this was, and Roman Reigns interfered.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Bobby Lashley won the title from Brock.
Mm-hmm.
But how did Brock get the title back? Because he won it back
He
at
won the
Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber match.
And Bobby was in that match? Oh, yeah, he got hurt.
Right.
Okay, now I'm starting to remember. I'm like, I thought they had two matches and then they each won one. But so technically Brock won that match, but Bobby didn't even compete.
Exactly.
That was, you know what, that wasn't that also in Saudi?
Yeah. Like I didn't see the show because I was coming up like up here when we
Yeah.
were starting to get stuff here.
Yes,
And it
I
was
watched that. I remember it was like 10 in the morning on Saturday. I watched it with my daughter, and
like it was snowing up here. Like driving through the snow, folks. It's
you're talking to a Canadian right now.
I
Okay?
know, I know, I
I
know.
know. It's snowing right now.
Lucky you. All right.
Hasn't snowed a whole lot yet this
Uh,
year, but it is Halloween. Usually is the first big one. We did have one large snowfall before.
we've had frost. That's the closest we've gotten so far. So
But you're in Philly, right?
northern Pennsylvania.
How far how far away from Philly are you?
It's about 2.5, 3 hours.
Oh, that's too bad. I was gonna say you should go out and take some videos of Philly fans climbing poles after they get a win tonight.
Yeah.
It's gonna
I got somebody in Philly. Maybe he'll do it for us.
happen.
I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, Philly fan. they're
I'll have
fun.
to ask him and his dad. They're both Philly fans, so
Well, that's good for them. And I'm already wrong about my sweep pick, so we'll see how it goes. The World Series Game 3 tonight.
Yep.
Back in Philadelphia.
All right. And the main event for this show, for the undisputed WWE Universal World Heavyweight, whatever you want to call it, championship, Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul.
Yeah, another they're talking about how Logan Paul has a metal plate in his hand or something.
Never heard of this.
Yeah. Paul Heyman said you got to watch out for the punch. And Roman Reigns is just looking at him like he's had two matches, Paul. Two matches.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't know how they're going to build this. Like Roman Reigns is going to win.
Oh God, yeah.
Like I don't really. I would give maybe Logan Paul a 1% chance to win the title. It would be now if Triple H is going for shock value.
Exactly. That's what everyone is saying. If
this would be it.
Shock.
Like he could. Now it would screw up. Now let me get this straight. Is this just for the Universal title or is it for both?
I think it's for both.
Okay. I was like, because they want to get the title, the Universal title, off of Roman, so Raw can have a champion. And this is not a storyline thing. This is the USA Network thinks Raw's ratings is not going well because they don't have a champion. Like Roman has been there a couple times, but
right,
he's becoming that kind of champion that's not there every week. If this was just for the Universal title, I'd almost say maybe there's a chance that some shenanigans happen.
Yeah.
And he could win the title somehow. But come on. What Roman's done the last 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
He hasn't lost a pinfall.
Yeah, he has not.
I believe since his Survivor Series 2019.
He has not been pinned in.
Is that right? 2019.
Yeah.
Survivor Series. So
we're coming right up on it. Actually,
he's coming up on the 3-year mark of not losing a match.
Like he's been disqualified, I think, like once or twice in 3 years.
Yeah. So I think it'll be Roman going over, looking dominant. I don't know. Do we have any idea who the next challenger to him would be?
See, here's the thing, because I 1,000% agree with you. It's Roman. It's not even a joke.
Yeah, it's not really a discussion. It's more like, how is he going to win?
Yeah,
not if.
I think this is Roman's last title defense for the year.
Yeah,
because you've got Survivor Series. Because I don't know. Well, you got Survivor Series coming up.
Yeah.
There's a good possibility they're going to be in war, like because they said
They
there are
will.
reports they're going to do 2 war games.
Yeah.
I would bet a lot of money the Bloodline's going to be in one of those war games.
Yeah.
So that completely takes Roman defending the title out of the picture.
Hmm.
Who you have them face is the $1 million question.
Yeah.
Because there was one report I read maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. It would be Bray Wyatt and his family, but I don't think it's time for that yet.
No, that I think that needs to be a longer build.
Yeah. If you're going to do a team, it has to be a team of people that Roman has beaten and like he screwed them out every
Yeah.
time. That's
Well,
the
I would just look at his Romans like last 5 opponents: Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar,
Mhm.
or oh my god, I forgot
Riddle,
what Matt Riddle.
Riddle.
Um, is Randy Orton retiring? Is he?
He's
Is the
still on the
injury
shelf.
maybe? Yeah, like maybe that would be like a surprise partner,
Kevin Owens,
and
because Kevin Owens has said that he wants another shot.
yeah,
So you've got 4 guys there, and then if you can find a fifth person, because you can't do Edge, because you can't really do Edge at this point.
yeah, like
Um,
Edge is one of the guys that Roman
hmm,
beat.
I got it. Sheamus.
You
No,
got it,
because they put him
Sheamus?
out. They put him out recently.
Yeah.
Sheamus is the fifth guy. So
Oh,
you could have 5-on-5 right there for war
you
games.
could. And this could be like a Sammy J something happens in the match.
Yep.
Um, Similar to, you remember that match when it was Shawn and the Knights versus the Hart Foundation?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, he was supposed to be Jerry Lawler, but he got in trouble. Um, Shawn and the Knights. Yeah. And then there was a problem in the match, and Owen ends up losing. Everybody else wins. I could kind of see a
Oh
situation
yeah.
like that where
Oh,
Jay comes back and he's
absolutely.
all mad, and maybe Sammy gets the final win, and he's the ultimate Oos or something like that. The ultimate Oos. That would be a shirt. Or Oosie is being produced right
Oh,
now.
it has to be.
It's probably going to be the highest selling shirt since Austin 316. That's my prediction. Um,
Let's just say
yeah.
this.
So I know we're rambling, but Roman Reigns is on a roll here. He's going to continue.
Let's say
I,
this right now. We live in a wrestling world where 2 of the biggest things going on is Usi and Scissor Me Daddy Ass.
right? Isn't it wonderful?
What a wonderful world we live in. I love it.
So, okay. So before we move on, this is how I see this match going. Roman's going to win,
Mm-hmm.
but I think Logan Paul is going to have another great performance.
Yes.
It's going to be like almost Roman acknowledging Logan Paul after he wins, kind of like damn, like I didn't respect you.
Mm-hmm.
Not a handshake or anything like that because he's a heel, but I could kind of see Logan Paul getting a couple near falls
Yeah.
and the crowd kind of thinking that he would almost win. There might be a couple really close calls, and then Roman probably does his moves there and gets the win, but working a little harder than he expected to.
Now, I had this thought that I have not told anybody. So this is a DK and Bill wrestling exclusive.
Ooh, I'm excited.
So the last 2 title defenses that Roman has had, Austin Theory has attempted to cash in every time. The first time he was stopped by Brock. The last time he was stopped by the Boxer.
Yep.
This is, of course, this is me booking. This is me booking in my infinite wisdom. Big brain Bill. Um, So Theory goes to cash in, and then the Saudi prince comes and he has a sword with him, and he beheads Austin Theory.
Come on, man.
Well, okay, he won't really behead him, but the Saudi prince will do something to stop Theory from cashing in.
Oh man, that'd be funny.
And then
Yeah,
that'll be the start of World War III.
I
Will I
kind of
mention
I
will I
kind of
mention
forgot
World
about
War III
Austin.
again later? Tune
I kind
in.
of forgot about Austin Theory because he's always lurking around.
Well, there was a story that came out, and my friend Steve mentioned this to me the other day. They're thinking of, and this is, of course, a rumor, so we don't know if it's true or not. They're thinking of having Theory hold it for the full year.
The full year,
The full year, go all the way till July.
2020.
Yeah, which has never been done before. Which has never
No,
been done.
and I did read a story that they are considering scrapping that pay per view and having the matches at
I
WrestleMania,
have heard that too, and I
which
like
I
that
kind
idea.
of like. I think it would be better if they now if they cut the pay per views and add other ones, then that doesn't make sense to me. I
Mhm.
think it would be awesome if we got back to like five big ones and then maybe a couple kind of smaller type pay per views. Like,
Which is what I think Triple H is doing at this point, because if you look at the calendar for the first few pay-per-views of next year,
yeah,
you got the Royal Rumble at the end of January. Then you got the Elimination Chamber in February, and then
you also
WrestleMania is in
you also
April.
have day one too, right?
Yeah, they can't. No, they canceled day one.
They did cancel it.
They have canceled it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
So
good
yeah.
because like last year, I think day one was New Year's Day, and then
Mm-hmm.
Royal Rumble was like
Four.
January 18th
It
or
was like
something.
3 or 4 weeks after. So.
So and then you have the pay per view Elimination Chamber,
Mm-hmm.
which is starting to get stale. Like those
Yeah.
in between big shows, like the July show or the February show, it's usually not the best.
I like them scrapping the Hell in a Cell pay per view.
Yeah,
I think it needed to go, and especially with how we got this year with Seth and Cody, it's like you couldn't really top that for the
and
next
I think it
pay-per-view.
takes away from a Hell in a Cell match.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have a pay per view, and it's coming. Like it's not like back in the day when they would announce, "Oh, this match will be Hell in a Cell," and it's like,
Right,
"Oh, okay,
right.
what's gonna happen? How are you
Which
gonna
is,
top
and
what
actually,
what the other guys have done?"
if you think about it, and actually, I'm thinking about it now. We haven't had a TLC pay per view in quite some time. And I
Yeah,
can't remember the last time we've had a TLC match outside of a TLC pay per view. So,
yeah. Like I know they're trying to like get people to order these pay-per-views, but
mm-hmm.
now that you have the network, a lot of people just have their subscription.
Yeah,
So I don't think you would lose that much money if you scrapped a December pay-per-view. Like if you had Survivor Series and then you had the Raw after Survivor Series all the way to mid-January to build Royal Rumble, be much better.
and again, I'm gonna sound like my age here, and probably DK will as well when I say this. This is what it was up until the mid '90s.
Yeah.
Was after the Survivor Series for WWF, WWE, you had no pay per view until the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, like when I started watching wrestling, there was 4 shows a year. Like
exactly.
like you had your Saturday night main event. It was like an hour long.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a lot of building. It was just more like network television. Let's get the guys out there.
Yeah.
Um, and I think when you build to each show and it's like a 2 week build or 3 week build, it's not as good.
Right.
Like kind of like this Brock Lesnar match we were talking about earlier. It's been a couple week build. Now, if you had a 3 month build and the guys kept attacking each other, and oh man, I can't wait till these guys actually get in the ring. It's just more exciting.
Yeah.
I think, to build to that next big show that's going to happen.
It
So,
is.
but yeah, so I'm assuming we're both taking Roman Reigns here to
Yeah.
win the
We are.
match, and um, in November we'll be doing a Survivor
Survivor Series. Yep.
Series
That's going to be a fun
preview.
show.
That'll be fun once we learn a little bit more what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like the road to WrestleMania. What around Survivor Series kind of starts seeing where guys are going to be, and
Right.
so cool, man.
All right.
Are you excited for the show? Like this show, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't move the needle for me to. Oh
Yeah.
man, I can't. I don't even know if I'll watch it like Brant when it's live. I'll probably check it out eventually, but it's not one that like, oh man, I can't wait till Saturday. I'm gonna get up
Exactly.
early and watch it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how Logan Paul does in the big spot.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty incredible, honestly, from being in a mixed tag with the Miz to he's only had the Miz like in the ring with him.
Yeah. This is a completely different person.
Now I'm sure he's had some practice matches.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see how the chemistry is with Roman, but yeah, see what happens.
Yep. All right. So now we're gonna go into our profile, and this is on the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. And we decided to look at from 1992 to 1997. And I think, because I originally I had like 94 to 97, but then you were like, well, let's go to 92 because that's with the
You got to
Intercontinental.
talk about the match,
Right.
the SummerSlam match with Bret Hart.
If you're
Like,
looking for like the peak years of Davy Boy as a singles competitor, 92 to 97 is it. Like it doesn't get any better for him, I think.
yeah,
So I'll start at the Royal Rumble because that's a pretty good spot to start at.
yeah, chronological how we do
Yeah.
this. So
So British Bulldog is number one. He starts the match. And he's in there for a long, almost a half hour, I think, in that match. Let me. Okay,
he has the stamina in these Royal Rumbles. I believe he starts early in a few of them,
yeah, and he
as we'll talk about
eliminates.
as we go.
He has the first three eliminations of that match. DiBiase, and then Sags of the Nasty Boys and Haku, and then he gets eliminated by Flair. But he's really good in Royal Rumbles, and we're going to mention a lot of those as we go on. So after the Rumble, he was supposed to have a match at WrestleMania 8 with the Berserker, but the match never
Oh man, I
the
love the
match never
Berserker.
happened. I think what it was they ran out of time for the pay-per-view, and that match just got taken off the show.
At WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I
Oh, I'm getting a WrestleMania payday. Oh, we don't have time. Sorry.
I was there.
Rick and Macho Man went too long.
I was there in at MetLife when like it was gonna be like Brodus Clay and the Funkadactyls and all of them, like they were supposed to go on, but
Yeah.
they got kicked off because of time and they went right to the main event. I
Really?
felt so bad. No, okay, I'm gonna
So is that like CM Punk and Undertaker going too long? You can't really tell those guys to
right.
speed it up. We got to get Brodus out there.
Okay, one of my friends,
The
one of my
Funkasaurus.
friends was at the show. He's told me the story. And he was sitting with this kid who, this is, I think, one of maybe the kid's first show. It's his first WrestleMania.
Yeah.
The match this kid is looking forward to the most is the Brodus Clay, like 8-person tag match.
Why?
And it was a kid.
There's the Undertaker's on the show, and he wants to see Brodus Clay. Can we have this kid on as a special guest? I need to ask him 57 questions.
I joked with my friend, like, that kid is still sitting in the stadium to this day waiting for that match to happen.
Hey, he's like, come on. I'm waiting
What the
for the
fuck
Funkasaurus
tacos?
to come out. Do you just like the song or something? Like, like Brodus Clay was one of the worst wrestlers ever. He
Somebody
he
call your
he,
mama.
he
Somebody.
had that weird freaking ring attire, and oh god, he was so terrible.
Hey, you're talking about the man who could be the next NWA World Heavyweight Champion in
Oh
a
my
week and a
god,
half.
really? I did not know that.
He could. All
Okay.
right, so back to Davy Boy. So he starts to have this feud with Repo Man, and because I remember watching this when it happened. They have a match, and Repo Man hangs Davy Boy with like his rope, and this is supposed to be a feud that's going to go on, but things change as they always do in wrestling because SummerSlam is in England this year,
Hmm.
not Washington, D.C., where it was originally going to be. So Davy Boy is going to be in the main event of SummerSlam, but he's not going for the world title. He's going for the Intercontinental title against Bret Hart, where we find out it's his brother-in-law. And I watched 92 Superstars on the network like a while ago because a lot of those I had not seen in years.
Yeah,
The buildup is so good. The
it is.
I think the best parts are the promos from Brett's family because
Yeah,
Bruce is like, yeah, I'm rooting for Davy Boy. Brett's been trying to divide the family for years.
I know. It's like the beginning of like what you're gonna see in '94 with Owen.
But the best,
Like the first thing that happens.
but the best promo, and I please, folks, go out of your way to watch this, is a Stu and Helen promo. Stu does not get one word in the promo. It is all Helen.
Yeah.
Oh God. God
Like, come on,
bless.
Helen. Let's
Helen is a
talk.
saint.
We're here to listen to Stu.
Eh, it's gonna be good. You're gonna stretch it out. Eh. So anyway, we
That's
have the
funny.
match. It's in front of 80,000 people, and it is a great match. I I don't think it's the greatest SummerSlam match of all time, but it is in the top 10 for sure.
I would be curious for you to tell me which is better. Because I have that as the greatest SummerSlam match of all time.
I am
Now SummerSlam has had a lot of good matches
They really have.
and hidden gems. I'm like maybe because this is it's just in the back of my head because I rewatched this match and I just back and forth and kind of like one of the first times the Intercontinental title closed the show,
Exactly.
and this was still the big man's WWF.
Mm-hmm.
And these two guys are 6 feet tall. Like Bulldog's a big guy, but
He's more
he's
muscular, big.
yeah, he's a muscular guy.
Yeah.
He's not like a 6'7"
Mm-hmm.
warrior Hulk Hogan
Right.
type guy. So
I'm
just curious what you thought
to,
about that.
to answer your question. If we're looking at the early years of SummerSlam, Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect is an all-time classic to me.
Yep.
I have watched that match so many times. I love that match.
Yep. That was 91, the year before.
Yeah, the year before.
So Brad had a couple of good ones there back
Exactly.
to
That
back.
that's why I will always say Bret is Mr. SummerSlam to me. He's Mr. SummerSlam.
The SummerSlam, I believe, is pronounced.
Yeah.
If you're Brett, because I
Um
know you called me out for saying the SummerSlam,
I just
because
said
that's
all
what Canadians
Canadian.
do. I guess I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe it's just Canadians.
If if you're gonna say the last 10 years, I would say John Cena and Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan. That match and I'm excluding what happened at post match. I exclude that. That
Better
match
remember that match now.
is one of the greatest title matches I've ever seen, and it was
Okay.
done so well.
Which SummerSlam is that?
That
I
was
don't know if I've seen it.
2013.
Okay. 2013. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that, and then after the match, Orton cashes in, Triple H turns heel, blah blah blah.
Yes. Okay, I remember that. Yeah, Triple H was the referee.
But if you take that out, that ending, that match is one of the greatest matches in SummerSlam
Yeah.
history, bar none.
Yeah.
So, Davey Boy wins the Intercontinental title with a great ending. I have always liked that ending. It's just out of nowhere. So, Bulldog has the title for about 2 months or so, 3 months. And then he loses the belt to Shawn Michaels on Saturday night's main event, which shocked me as a kid.
Yeah.
Because I thought
Yeah, like
Davey was going to hold on to that belt for a while.
if you're watching like if you're watching like 92, like if you're rewatching things
Mm-hmm.
and then you watch SummerSlam and then you watch Survivor Series because those are the chronological events.
Right.
And then like why and Sean's facing is this the one where Sean faces Brett for the WWF title?
At that Survivor Series, yeah.
Yeah, and he has the Intercontinental title.
Right.
And we're like, okay, a lot has happened in a few months here. Brett lost the IC title, but he's the heavyweight champion now.
Right. And then
And
Davey,
Shawn Michaels has the
right.
Intercontinental title. So
And
kind
then
of weird.
and then Brett and Shawn have an incredible match at that Survivor Series. That's like the only redeemable thing from that show.
Yeah.
So after Davey Boy loses the title, he is released from WWE. According to Bret Hart in his book, the reason that Davey was released was because he and the Ultimate Warrior had received shipments of human growth hormones. And this is when they were trying to cut back on the steroid use and all of that. And
Yeah.
they got caught, and that was it. So Bulldog in 93 goes to WCW. And we're still in the, like Southern wrestling, but this is a good pickup for them in 93.
Yeah.
And he is a main eventer right away because he is in a feud with Vader. They main event the first Slamboree in 1993, where Bulldog wins by disqualification. I haven't seen the match in a while, so I had to think for a moment.
This is 93 Slamboree?
Yeah, this is the first one. So Davey Boy, obviously, because he's a babyface, forms an alliance with Sting, who is the top babyface. And we've covered that era of Sting on a previous episode, which you guys can check out in the archives.
Yes.
So they do this build-up for a tag match. This is when WCW did mini movies, in quotation marks, to build up to this match of Sting and Davey Boy against Vader and Sid Vicious. Folks, if you want your kids to see bad shorts, let them see this. This is some bad stuff.
Yeah.
So they have the tag match. Sting and Davey Boy win. I think Davey Boy pins Vader in the match. So
that's a big deal in 93 too.
It is. So Davey Boy gets one more shot at a Clash of the Champions. And Vader beats him. So the rest of the time, Davey is in 93. He main events a Fall Brawl because that's the War Games. So he's in the War Games there. Then he has a match at Halloween Havoc against Lord Steven Regal for the TV title, which I think goes to a draw. His last pay-per-view appearance is in November of 93. This is the rare time where WCW does a November pay-per-view. At a show called Battle Bowl, where you're randomly picked on teams. So he loses his match against Road Warrior Hawk and Rip Rogers. Now, I'm going to test your knowledge here, DK. Okay?
Okay.
Davey Boy's partner in that match is named Cole. Kole.
Okay.
Who does Cole end up becoming?
Ooh. I I did not study for this test,
It's a
so
pop quiz.
why don't you give me a small little hint, and we'll see if I can.
He is a WWE Hall of Famer, sucker.
Booker T, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Booker T was his partner.
I feel like the sucko was a little
The
bit of a
big
giveaway.
giveaway.
That's okay then.
So how does his run end in WCW? Because as a kid, I remember he was starting to get into a feud with Rick Rude. According to Wikipedia, in July of 1993, Davey Boy Smith was in an altercation with a man at a bar who had made advances towards his wife, Diane. As a result of the ensuing legal issues that followed, WCW released him from his contract in December of 1993. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it
I
was a
forgot to.
very short, like,
Mhm.
stint, and kind of
Very short.
forgettable.
Yeah.
Kind of forgettable.
Oh, I forgot to tell you this, and I forgot to tell JC this as well. Um, I saw last week on Instagram, and I'll have to get the name of the store. They are coming out with a Diane Hart action figure,
Really.
and she is in the brown coat that she wore at SummerSlam '92.
Really.
Yes.
So is it like a vintage SummerSlam, like, action figure?
Like it's not WWE that's releasing it. It's a smaller company, but it's going to be in the Hasbro style
Okay.
action figure. Because like they did a video announcement of it, and Diana's like, "Hi, I'm Diana. I'm happy to announce that I'm gonna have an action figure." And then boom, there's the figure of what she wore at SummerSlam '92.
Okay.
So after his time in WCW, he wrestles in a few different places, but makes his return to the WWF at SummerSlam '94. But
Yeah, I
not
kind of
in
thought that was the first time where he's sitting in a crowd.
yes.
And I'm like, wow, we haven't seen Bulldog in a while.
Yep. And he
So,
changed his look, changed his hair. No
yep.
longer has the Whoopi Goldberg look, according to Bobby Heenan.
Yeah, wasn't the best look.
Not now, but like when you're like 7 or 8 years old, you're like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But so
Sorry, you lost me at a pretty
Diane
cool.
Hart, the Diane
Yeah.
Hart action
Yeah,
figure.
I'm still thinking, like, I'm like
Diana.
trying to order the Diana Hart action figure. And I can't find it.
So yeah, that is his return, and he is a part of the feud with Brad and Owen. So he gets tangled up into that, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much where he is for the rest of '94. So to '95, he is in the Royal Rumble.
Well, he did have kind of a big moment there in the '94 Survivor
Oh
Series, like,
yeah,
where
that's
he
right.
where he like he's chasing Owen around, and then he ran into the post
Yep,
or the
knocked
stairs or
himself out.
something, knocked himself out, and then you see Owen as one of the best actors,
Yep, should have gotten the
convincing his
Academy
mom and
Award.
dad to throw the towel in.
Should have gotten the Academy Award that year.
So yeah, and '95 is a kind of a big year for him. Even it's not a big year for the company. It's one of
Right.
the worst years, but yeah, we'll talk about the heel Bulldog here.
So '95 begins with Davey Boy in the Royal Rumble, drawing number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it's he and Shawn Michaels starting. They go all the way to the end, wire to wire. They're the
Yeah.
first two in, they're the last two in. And this is still to this day one of my favorite endings to a Royal Rumble ever, because Davey
Yeah.
Boy throws Sean out and he thinks he's won it. They play the music. It's like Davey Boy's won. He's going to go to WrestleMania. He's going to face the champion, you know. And then here comes Sean, knocks him out, and Davey goes to the floor. And you're like, well, wait a minute. What happened? And then they do the whole explanation. You know, one foot of Sean's touched, not both. Sean wins the Rumble. And then the replay, you see that, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, the funny thing is they talked about this a couple years ago. They had the camera on Sean's feet, but it wasn't the live camera, just in
Right.
case he did touch.
Right.
And they could kind of like, besides the people in the row over there, they could kind of just make it look like he didn't.
Mhm.
But it was pretty. I know this isn't a Shawn Michaels episode, but that was pretty incredible athleticism there. And watching like Bulldog, like he's in the ring the longest, just as long as Sean was. No one talks to the Bulldog. They're like, oh, Sean won. He won the whole thing. He was in the ring for 2 seconds less than Sean.
Right.
As he gets hit over the. But and I wonder if Bulldog got hurt there, because that was kind of a bad bump when he fell over the.
But let's
he was on the top rope there celebrating, and then Sean just knocks him off.
But let's give Davey Boy credit on this.
Totally.
He sold the fact that he won that perfectly. Like he sold that to a T.
And maybe he wasn't in the production meeting and he thought he won.
Right.
I'm surprised.
Oh my God. I'd have felt so bad if that's true.
Hey Davey, you're gonna win.
All right.
All right.
I don't have
the ropes, and then Sean just knocks him off, and like, oh man, we forgot to tell you that we changed the ending. This is awkward.
Yep.
Bulldog versus Diesel would have probably been a worse match than Sean and Diesel. So
yeah, nothing against Davey.
No, it's more against Diesel.
Davey Boy, after almost winning the Rumble, forms a tag team with Lex Luger called the Allied Powers.
Oh yeah, Jesus, Lex Luger.
And
we had an episode about Lex Luger, so I was kind of hoping we never had to talk about him again, but here we are.
We have to.
95. 95, you're going to get some
Lex Luger. We have to for a few minutes.
Okay.
So they have a match at WrestleMania 11 and win against the Blue Brothers. That's how memorable the match is.
I don't even know who the Blue Brothers are. I don't know who that is.
Okay. Remember when we did the Bad Blood review?
Yeah.
The DOA. April and Skull. The Bulldog twins.
Yeah, that's Blue Brothers.
That's the Blue Brothers.
The Harris twins.
Yeah, Harris twins.
Their real names.
Yeah. So, this team is going along, and they get a tag title shot at the second In Your House. Ooh, how prestigious that is. They lose to Yokozuna and Owen Hart. And then
the surprise Yokozuna was a surprise partner or something, right?
Right.
That one.
Right. So then on a Monday Night Raw before SummerSlam, Davey Boy teams up with Diesel in a tag match against Men on a Mission. When all of a sudden, Davey Boy attacks Diesel. And this is the first time that I remember we get a heel Davey Boy Smith.
Yeah, definitely the first time that I can remember.
And he changes his look. No long hair. He's got a buzz cut. He's a full heel now.
And that's the way Vince did things, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you were turning heel, then you changed your look, because they wanted, like, he thought you had to change almost everything about you.
Yeah.
Cut your hair, change your tights, talked a little differently in promos. So I thought it was a pretty good heel turn, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And now he's got Jim Cornette as his manager. And at the end of 95, Davey Boy's going to get 2 shots at the WWF title. The first one is against Diesel at In Your House 4.
Yeah.
Which I have never seen, and I think I'm pretty thankful at this point in time that I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Davey Boy wins by disqualification because Bret Hart got involved. Like they fought on the outside. I don't know. It's just all I know is when that pay-per-view ended, and I've heard this story, Vince McMahon was so pissed he threw his headset down and just stormed to the back.
Yeah. Yeah, 95 wasn't the best year. When we used to do years, we did Diesel. I believe it was Kevin Nash episode when we did 95.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we went through it and we were like, damn.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they survived this one.
But Davey Boy does get a redeeming title match at the December In Your House because he faces Bret Hart. And this is the match where Bret Hart bleeds a bucket of blood.
Yeah, and I don't know if this was a blading or if something happened. I that's one thing that sticks out to me when I think about that match. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the blood. And I remember a big superplex.
Yeah.
From the top being a big moment.
I mean, that match is really good.
And this is right after Bret wins the title from Diesel at the
Survivor
Series. You were at that show.
I was at that show. I was surprised that Bret had won. That's all I'm gonna say.
But he's from Calgary. We're all great.
Now here's the thing, and I'm actually remembering this now. Because you've asked me, like, when's the first time you ever saw X match or this match or this match? I could tell you the first time I saw this Bret Davey Boy match.
Okay.
Because the week that I saw it was the week that we had the famous blizzard of 96 in DC.
Okay.
And when there was no school the next day, I was allowed to stay up to watch Raw. So this was a taped Raw. And they were like, tonight, we're going to air the Bret Hart British Bulldog match. And it's like, they're hyping it as like, oh, you should be cautious for those that are, like can't stand blood. Because like they did an interview with Earl Hebner and he was talking about how Bret had lost so much blood. And I'm 10 at the time. So I'm like, all right, I want to see it.
Down.
I did not watch whatever was on Nitro the rest of that night. I wanted to see this match just to see.
They aired it on Raw. I do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I watched this pay-per-view like live.
I didn't see the pay-per-view. I only saw this on Raw like the first time, and I was like, wow.
Cool. He's bleeding like a movie.
It's a lot of blood.
Like Bill, that's not good. He's in trouble. Concussion.
Hey, when you get like 2 feet of snow, you don't really care, and you're 10. It's like,
yeah, that's a sweet situation, man.
Like, and this is after we had come back from Christmas vacation, winter break.
How did you know it was going to be a snow day? Like we always had to wake up early. We're sitting there on the couch listening to the radio. Yes, kids.
Oh, I didn't know until like I woke up that morning and my mom's like, Bill, you don't have school today.
Oh, I thought you said that you got to stay up late because you didn't have school or something.
Well, sometimes back in Maryland, like if it was real bad, they would announce like that evening if you were going to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
definitely wouldn't happen for us.
Yeah, that's how bad it was. One of my favorite childhood memories, that blizzard of 96.
Nice.
Sorry to get off track, folks. Just
that's what we do on this.
Good winter memories. All right, so to 96, just going to mention the Royal Rumble again because Davey Boy has another good performance in this one. He makes it to the Final Four that year, where
And he's
Shawn
probably
Michaels.
just tired of Shawn Michaels just stealing all his Royal Rumble victories. Like, are you kidding me? This guy again? And you know
Right.
what? The funny story about this, I don't know if you knew this, but Davey Boy was not supposed to be in the Final Four.
That's right.
The ringmaster
Yes.
was supposed to be
In the
in the
final
Final
four.
Four. And now I don't know if that means Kama would have been eliminated
Right. I
first
don't.
or how it would have worked out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe the ringmaster was supposed to be eliminated by Shawn, and then he was supposed to kick Diesel
Hmm.
because it's supposed to be like Steve Austin's kind of not coming out party, but like, hey, like if you're in the Final Four at
That's a big
the
deal.
Royal Rumble, it's kind of a big deal.
Like, I remember when I saw 94, like when I watched 94, and I'm like, Fatu's in the final four.
Yeah,
Like, you got Shawn Michaels here, Bret Hart here, Lex Luger here, three people that could win the Rumble, and there's Fatu. Nothing against
exactly.
Fatu, but it's like, wow, Fatu's in the final four.
Yeah,
So,
Rikishi. It's Rikishi, man.
yeah, I know. Well, we didn't know Rikishi would back that ass up, you know.
Head shrinker too. Back that ass up.
Yep.
Stinkface. Who knew?
All right. So Davy Boy, after that performance, would end up being in a faction called Camp Cornette, where it is himself, Owen Hart, and Vader. And the three of them would team up at WrestleMania 12 against Yokozuna, Ahmed Johnson, and Jake Roberts.
Man, this was a rough one.
Eh,
No, Yoko is just
oh,
so big.
he is.
They have to keep putting him into situations. Like I always thought that this was supposed to be Vader versus Yoko in a singles, but
Mm-hmm.
he just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He was over 600 at this point. And yeah, Ahmed was Ahmed about it. And well, Bulldog and Owen were probably the two best guys in this match.
Jake was decent in this one, I
Jake
remember.
was all right, but he was definitely not the
Oh,
Jake of
not 1990, 91 Jake.
no. And if you think about it, like if you go back and watch like Jake from 90, 91, and then you go to 96, it's only 5 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he does have a good showing at the King of the Ring
Yeah.
later in the year, but yeah, I kind of disagree. I didn't think Jake was very good in this match, but it's a Bulldog show, so let's keep it going.
So Bulldog's team wins. And then about a month later is when he starts a feud with Shawn Michaels. Now, how this feud starts is from Diana, because
Yeah.
Diana alleges that Shawn Michaels was hitting on her. And this
Ooh,
and
who
this gets
cares?
Davey Boy upset.
I don't know why it matters. Sean's the heartbreak kid. He hits on everybody.
Yeah, he does. So
He's
they go
dancing in
down.
the rain. He's hitting on the girls in the front row. Like I don't know why Bulldog dared. And honestly, I think this was is a storyline, but based on real events in the
Yeah,
back, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I always thought that Sean was there was something there.
Because the thing that I remember about it was how like everyone's like, oh, Sean's always had this kind of problem. He always would go for the women. Like, so anyway, they main event In Your House with a really unique ending to the match.
Is this the one where the power goes out?
Yeah, this is the show where the power goes out and
Beware of dog.
the power. Yep.
I remember I rented this one, and we ended up getting it free because of what happened.
Right.
And yeah, and then you end up getting like almost two pay-per-views out of it because like half of it worked, and then the power goes out, and then the next, I think it was on a Tuesday or something, they did it again, and so you got twice your money worth, and you got it for free.
Yeah. So the ending to the match, Bulldog hits a German suplex on Shawn. The referee in the ring counts 1, 2, 3. And Davey Boy thinks he's won the title. He thinks he's won the title.
Yeah.
However, the original referee who had been knocked out, he made a pin in favor of Shawn Michaels. And there's this famous moment of Diana is holding the belt up in the air, and Gorilla Monsoon comes from behind and just snatches the title from her.
Yeah. It's one of the best things ever. I do
Oh, he
remember
did
that.
win it.
Woo!
So
Give me that belt. It's not yours.
So they declare the match a draw, but Davey Boy's going to get another shot at King of the Ring. And they get to pick the referee. Davey Boy gets to pick the referee. So the referee that they pick is Mr. Perfect. But they do some BS shenanigans because I remember watching this show. And it's like, well, we're going to have Perfect be the referee outside of the ring, and we're going to have an original referee in the ring because of what happened at WrestleMania 10. And Shawn retains the title.
Did Perfect have anything to do with that? With the finish? I don't really remember that.
I don't remember.
Like, was there even a purpose in having him there?
Not really.
Okay.
So after a couple of months, Davey Boy and Owen Hart challenged for the tag titles against the Smoking Guns at another In Your House. And this is where Davey Boy and Owen win the tag team titles. And this starts a pretty decent run as tag team champions.
Yeah.
The only problem is their tag team division is crap at this time.
That's true.
So we're going to kind of skip some of it, but we do have to mention in the 1997 Royal Rumble, the British Bulldog cuts a famous promo about how he's going to win the Rumble. And why is he going to win the Rumble, DK?
I just watched this Royal Rumble. What did he say?
Because I'm bizarre.
Is that what he said? Is that when he like walks in from he's like got his bag over his shoulder and he's walking into the because I'm bizarre?
I'm bizarre.
Oh, okay. That's kind of weird there, Dave.
Legendary promo.
Yeah.
So then we get to the next month and we find out that there is a tournament that's going to happen for a brand new championship, the European Championship. And Davey Boy is in the tournament and he makes it to the finals of this tournament. And who does he face in the finals? He faces Owen Hart.
Of course he does.
I haven't seen this match in a long time, but
I don't think I've ever seen it.
From what I've heard, it's a really good match.
I think I missed a little bit in '97 because I don't remember a tournament. I always just assumed that Davey Boy was given the title because he's the European champion.
Well,
he is.
The episode that this, or the episode of Raw that this match is on is infamous because it's a taped show. The match is in Germany. And this is kind of where like they changed directions of Monday Night Raw. But this match is regarded as a really good match. Davey Boy wins the title and is the first European champion.
And this is on a Raw.
Yeah.
Why they wouldn't have a championship in like, I don't know, maybe some European show or something like that.
Right. Well, I mean the finals was held in Germany, I think.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, because like the whole tournament was in Europe.
Oh, okay.
So at least they didn't, like cheapen the people out of like, oh, we're gonna have the European title tournament held in Japan.
Yeah.
So now Davey Boy's got the European title. He and Owen eventually lose the tag titles to Stone Cold Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, that was a big one.
And Davey Boy gets into a feud with Ken Shamrock for the European title. And that culminates at SummerSlam, where the loser of the match has to eat dog food. Well, during
I
during
I love '97 SummerSlam.
I
There's so many
know
stipulations.
it's
You can't
so
even
good.
keep track.
So at one point during the match, Davey Boy takes the can of dog food and just shoves it into Shamrock's face.
And he goes a little bit crazy.
He basically kills everybody in the ring. Davey Boy is knocked out,
Yeah, choked
and
him out a little
that's
bit.
that. So then, because we've already lived through this, we have to bring it up again. We don't want to, but we've got to. One night only. British Bulldog, main
The
event of the show.
biggest dick ever.
Main event.
97 Shawn Michaels. I swear, like every time we do an Attitude Era type star, it always comes down to this douche.
Yep. Yep.
The Heartbreak Kid and Creative Control.
Yep. So the main event is Davey
Yeah.
Boy and Shawn Michaels, European title. We're going to keep it short.
He dedicated the match to his dying sister. She died like 2 weeks later, by the way.
Yep.
Sean's like, doesn't matter, I gotta go over.
Yep. Shawn wins the belt.
Yeah. And then he doesn't defend it until he does a sham with Triple H. Right. So he didn't need the belt. Just saying.
Yeah.
Didn't make any sense.
So Davey Boy's last appearance is at Survivor Series 97, where he is in a traditional Survivor Series elimination match.
Team Canada!
Yes.
Let's go! I think there was one Canadian on the team. I'm not sure if there was a Canadian on the team.
Actually, there was.
One of the Furnace and LaFon guys.
Yeah, Furnace. LaFon. LaFon.
Yeah, I think it's LaFon.
Yeah, LaFon's the Canadian.
Montreal. I think he was from Montreal.
Yeah. So it's Bulldog, Jim Neidhart, Furnace, and LaFon against Vader, Goldust, Mark Marrow, and making his debut, Steve Blackman.
Yeah.
Bulldog is the sole survivor of the match. And if you had told him that day that that's going to be the last WWF match you're in for nearly 2 years, I don't think he'd have believed you.
Till he comes back in 2000 and he's wearing jeans for some reason. Yep. I don't know. That was a kind of a weird version of Bulldog.
So Smith leaves with Brett.
Now, did he did he just get his release?
Yeah.
Because he asked for it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm assuming that he would have kept going here if the screw job didn't happen.
Pretty much.
I don't know what his contract status was,
yeah,
but
I don't know.
Yeah, the end of '97 wasn't great for Davey here.
Yeah. So Davey Boy ends up going back to WCW at the end of '97, and I did not remember this at all, but according to Wikipedia, he has a feud with Steve Mongo McMichael.
Okay, then.
Which, again, I do not remember. And then is 98, which we're not going to get into, but it ends pretty badly with his back being broken.
Yeah. How did that, was there an accident in the ring? Or
what happened?
You just did a backdrop or something, right?
Yeah, what happened was they had set up a trap door underneath.
Oh, okay.
Because this is when Hogan is having a feud with the Warrior.
Oh, God.
And Davey Boy takes a backdrop and he lands on the trap door.
Oh, okay.
So, but I mean, from 92 to 97, Davey Boy was one of the best wrestlers in the world at that time.
Yep.
No doubt about it. He's one of those guys. When people talk about the best wrestlers to have never been a world champion, he is in my top 10. he will always be in my top 10.
Kind of depends on what you mean by world champion. If you just mean WWF,
Like WWF, WCW, you know.
like Mr. Perfect never won the
Well,
title in WWF, but
right, but he
if he
was
wanted,
a
he
world
won.
champion in
Yeah,
AWA.
yeah, he was a world. That's kind of what I meant.
Yeah,
A lot of people, if you have that post, like, I can't believe Mr. Perfect or Kurt Hennig was never a heavyweight champion. Now, like,
right.
well, you need to watch other things.
Hmm.
So,
But yeah, he's in my top 10.
yeah.
Davey Boy is, but
Oh, Owen Hart's there.
yeah, Piper.
Piper. Um,
So many. That
there's
could
a
be that
few.
could be an episode in itself.
Yeah, we'd have to do a little research.
Hmm. So, you told me off air before we started, and maybe you could share it with us briefly, that you recently met someone at your job
Yeah, I'm
who,
working with a new guy, and
yeah,
he's a former independent wrestler. I don't even know if it's former really because he still kind of does it. It's been a few years since the pandemic. I'm not going
right,
to name him by name because I didn't check with him.
right.
Um, but yeah, he told me that yeah, I was like, we're doing the show on the Bulldog. You got any stories? He didn't really have a whole lot of stories, but it was kind of interesting that he did know him when he was a young guy.
Hmm.
Went to his house a few times, had dinner with his family. He just basically told me that the British Bulldog was one of the nicest guys ever. When the Bulldog was kind of a star
Yeah,
and he was an up and coming guy, he always was there to help him out. And yeah, I he just wanted me to like that's what I got from the conversation I had with him was make sure to let everyone know what type of guy he was. Like
yeah,
sometimes it seems like Bulldog gets a little bit of criticism.
hmm,
Um, can't really defend himself anymore, unfortunately. He
yeah.
passed away. What was the year that he passed away?
2002,
Yeah, like
died from a heart attack.
so that's 20 years.
Actually, I do want to read this because I was
That's
looking.
surprised. I can't believe it's actually been
I
20
know.
years.
I do want to
Wow.
read this real quick just so people know. Forensic scientist Julie Evans stated that although she had found steroids and painkillers in Smith's system, they were not at a life threatening level. She
Okay.
instead concluded that Smith had died from natural causes associated with an enlarged heart.
Yeah. Yeah, like I know the painkillers and from the broken back probably had something to do with it.
Yeah, but I
But
mean,
like
if you
having an enlarged heart is probably didn't help contribute to anything anyways, right?
but if you look at, kind of his legacy in so many ways, his son David is wrestling, or Harry, I mean,
Yeah.
still wrestling to this day. Um, the tag team with Dynamite is considered one of the greatest tag teams ever, and he's one of the kings of the ribs,
Yeah.
one of the true kings of the ribs. If you ever want to look up, folks, on YouTube, there's an audio clip of Davey Boy and Owen acting as people from a pizza place, and they're pulling this rib on this woman, and Davey Boy acts as the manager. You have to listen to it. It is a
Yeah.
gem.
Yeah. I always knew like Owen was the ribber, but yeah, Bulldog definitely had a couple good ones too.
Okay, so before we end this show, and since we're in Halloween, we've got a treat for you guys,
Ooh.
because traditionally on this show, since we've changed the format, which thank you, DK, it's actually been a lot more fun with this change because I get to
Yeah.
see shows that I get
Well,
to see.
I was thinking like I want this show to like have some longevity.
Yeah,
We're going to be out of years in about 20 episodes, so
right. So
we better we better do something here.
yeah. So what we're going to do, because tomorrow is November 1st, and we are into Survivor Series season. I came up with something a little bit different for our vote for this one. Because normally DK and I, we will each pick one show. And then you guys on our Facebook group will decide what would normally decide what show we're going to review. However, because this is Survivor Series season, DK and I are going to each pick two shows. So basically, we're going to come up with a Survivor Series team of pay-per-views. And we're going to.
And this is for review purposes, right?
Yes, this is for review purposes. Okay. And whichever one gets the most votes, we're going to call the sole survivor of the team. And that show, whatever show it is that you guys vote for, is going to be the next show that we review on this podcast. So I told DK that I already got my two. And I'm going to explain why. Because originally, it came up to where I had three shows in mind. So I had to eliminate one. And I'll tell you off air which one I eliminated.
Okay.
The two that I am picking, I've never seen before.
Oh wow. Okay.
And they're kind of two different like aspects of it. So my first nominee is Survivor Series 2005.
Okay.
I'm picking that one because besides the main event, which is the 5-on-5, this is the first pay-per-view since Eddie Guerrero's death.
Yep.
Besides that, you have John Cena and Kurt Angle for the title, WWE title. The first Booker T Benoit match in their best of 7. And the infamous Eric Bischoff versus Teddy Long match, which won the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Award for the worst match of the year for 2005. So I kind of want to,
prestigious award.
I know, very prestigious.
Okay.
The other show that I'm picking, I've only seen one match, and it is the main event.
Okay.
And I'm picking this one hardly as a joke, but also kind of serious.
Okay.
The joke in this is how Joe Biden said that we are in the worst nuclear threat of Armageddon since, the 60s, and how people are saying World War III is coming. Well, if World War III comes and Peacock decides to take them all down, I may as well start watching one of them while I have the chance. So I am going with the very first World War III from 1995. So those are my two picks.
Oh, man, you threw me with a WCW pick. I didn't know that you were doing that. Man, so Survivor Series 2005 or World War III 95?
Those are my two picks.
Okay.
And I will put the poll up today.
Okay.
So people can.
Well, my first pick, I feel like since we're doing a Survivor Series, it should be one of them should be a Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm. That was my thought too.
It's been a while since I've seen this show. I feel like it would be a fun review and a good breakdown of some kind of urban legends that happen in the main event of the show, even though the main event didn't go on last. That's Survivor Series 1991.
Ooh, good
Undertaker, one. The Gravest Challenge, I believe the tagline was.
Yes.
The main match in that show is The Undertaker versus Hulk Hogan for the WWF title.
Yes.
And in a very underrated pay-per-view in 1999, going to St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Okay.
Main match from that show, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Vince McMahon in a steel cage.
All right. I have not seen that one in a while, actually.
It's been a long time. And honestly, I don't think I've seen the entire show. I think I think there's a Mankind Rock match in there too.
There is.
Is it
That's the first last man standing match.
last man standing match?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Austin and I don't know if I've seen that entire show. I know I've watched the Austin McMahon match a few times, and I
Yeah.
know I've seen that last man standing, but I don't know what's gonna win this.
We've got four different pay-per-views. That is for
And
sure.
all in different kind of genres too.
Yeah, really.
I would say 91 Survivor Series might get the needle moving for some people that are
Yeah.
hopefully the people that are voting are watching and listening to the shows as well,
If
not just voting.
honestly, if I was just a listener, that would be my pick. Honestly, that would be my pick. But since
Yeah,
I'm
because
not a
you do have
listener,
some scenarios where like Hulk Hogan had some hurt feelings get dropped on his head, which doesn't even he is dropped on his head. It just but he's lying there like he's half paralyzed at the end.
right?
We'll talk about it if we get to it.
If we get
And honestly, I hope World War III wins because I've never seen it. And then that would force me, because what we do is kind of the weekend before we record, we watch it, and then we make our notes, and then we make our picks.
Yeah.
Well, then we grade it basically. So
yeah, pretty much. We give it a star rating if want
yeah,
to go that way. So
or a letter grade.
yeah,
Maybe
we do. We do letter grades. Star ratings are overrated.
Yeah, we're not Meltzer. We're not the Tokyo Dome 5-star match because where it's held.
Don't worry. Unless we do an actual show from Japan, we will never do one. Like
Okay.
unless the show is actually held in Japan and it's a WWE or WCW or ECW, we will. Don't worry.
Yeah, if they have a show in the Tokyo Dome, I'll just say 5 stars for every match because it must be the venue or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so British Bulldog, what's your take on the 5 years? Were you impressed?
You know what? I think
95. I thought his heel year.
Yeah.
95. Actually, well, he was kind of a heel from 95 to
97.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's mostly a heel in this area.
Think
like
the main thing that I learned with Davey Boy is he was right there. Like he was ready to go to that next step.
Yeah.
And then something just happened and just never got the opportunity.
Do you think he would have had a legit chance if he didn't leave? I don't.
Not
the way things were going, with Sean as the champion, and then Austin was the next guy, and then Austin had he had his matches with Mick Foley, and then Kane, and then Undertaker, Kane, and then The Rock eventually. I don't see a scenario where the Bulldog is even close to a main event spot. He's probably just kind of like a mid-carder for the rest if he stayed.
If he had not been fired at the end of 92, I think 93 would have been the year that they would have put the belt on him.
Yeah, you think so?
More than likely. I would say 92 to maybe 95 would have been the best chance for either one, WWF or WCW.
Well, you think 93, right? Like that's when Brett won the title, right?
Mm-hmm. But
so
we'll never know.
Yeah.
You could join our Facebook group, DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast, and we will have the pay-per-view poll up as soon as the episode is up, and you guys can start voting away. You can follow me on Twitter at House of Bill.
And follow me, DK Mac 83.
Thank you all for either watching us on YouTube or listening on whatever podcasting platform you listen to us on. Have a good rest of your day. Have a happy Halloween, and we'll talk to you all next week or next time on the DK. Next time on the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast.
Have a good one, guys.